Hi everyone. This is my UTech model book and build with me, Ariana Gonzalez Spradling. For my book and build, I decided to use the book I Am Amelia Earhart by Brad Meltzer. This is a book that my daughters have, and so I selected it because it's one that I know my daughters like to read, and they like to read about Amelia Earhart. Um, so this is the story of one little girl who loved adventure and never let anybody stop her from trying new things. Her name was Amelia Earhart. This book tells the life of Amelia and how hard she worked to follow her dreams to become a pilot. This is a great biography for young children to read, and it even includes a timeline at the end with um, real photographs of Amelia Earhart. So for this book and build, I used this book. And what the Makerspace activity we are going to do is aerodynamics with paper planes. So for the UTech model, the U stands for using. During the using stage, makers are using materials to recreate one of three model paper airplanes. Makers can follow step-by-step instructions to make the Dart, which is an easy airplane, the Canard, which is a little harder, it's medium, or the Delta, that one is harder. Materials needed for this project would be paper, print out of step-by-step instructions for model planes, or if you are going to do this makerspace as a digital, for those that are at home, there is a link on howthingsfly.si.edu, and here they have links to the step-by-steps, which you can see here. This is one of their examples. And this one right here is the Dart, which was the easy. And this is what I did. I'm going to replay the video. And this is the one I made, which is the easy one. At this stage, makers they're using because they're pretty much following instructions step by step. They're not creating anything of their own original ideas. This is exactly what the instructions say. Now to move it to level it up, we move on to tinkering, the T. So during the tinkering stage, makers are looking at differences in the model planes. Here they're testing planes out to see how fast, far, or high each plane can get. Makers may also color, personalize their plane. Here they're kind of making little adjustments to their paper airplane. These are three images of the paper airplanes that are provided on that website, How Things Fly. Materials needed for this stage would be paper. We're adding colors because they're kind of now, makers are now able to tinker around and add little details. Print out of step-by-step instructions for model planes, again, or a link to How Things Fly for a digital makerspace space. When we level up, we are moving on to the E, which is experimenting. During the experimenting stage, makers are questioning and experimenting to find the answer. So here, this is when the students are starting to really look at their paper airplanes, and they can start questioning, well, what makes one plane fly higher than another? How can I make a plane faster? What happens if I change the wingspan? How does the placement of paper clips change the center of gravity? Does using cardstock or construction paper change anything? These are all questions that you can get your makers to think about, and they can start experimenting, trying different paper planes, using different material. Here we have makers can go to How Things Fly to experiment with the interactive forces of flight. So this right here is a website where the students can actually design a plane, and they have to select the wings, the motor, the material to determine can the plane fly faster or higher. And materials needed would be different types of paper, tape, paper clips, scissors if needed. And we move on to C, which stands for creating. During the creating stage, makers are looking to create their own design of a paper plane. Makers are challenged with designing a paper plane that can fly over 20 to 30 feet. Makers are challenged to make a plane that can fly the furthest. So here, this is a great opportunity to have your makers start designing their own type of plane to determine the shape for the aerodynamics and what will make this plane fly further. I put 20 to 30 feet. I guess it depends on the age range. The older the students, the further you can probably put. And so this is a great opportunity where they can start creating their own plane designs, testing them out. Materials needed for the creating stage would be completed paper airplanes, paper clips, and measuring tape to measure how far the paper airplanes went. And for this, I actually did a smaller version of the Dart to test it out, and the smaller plane did not fly as far as the bigger plane. So what else can you do? You can also create a building activity depending on the level age group. Makers can build a replica of Amelia Earhart's plane she flew when she disappeared. Makers can use a variety of materials. They can use wood, plastic, cardboard, any other things to replicate this plane. And before I go, this is the snowflake that I created from Dr. Kwan's website. I enjoyed making this little snowflake here. And thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.